In today's video, we're going to dive into everything you need to know about Dragon Age: The Veilguard. From the story and characters, to the new gameplay features. Whether you're a veteran of the series or just curious about the hype, you're in the right place. So, let's jump in.
I'm ready.
Alright, so let's get into the heart of Dragon Age: The Veilguard story, because it's shaping up to be an epic continuation of the Dragon Age saga. At the center of the plot is Solas, the Dreadwolf, who fans of Inquisition will remember as the elven god with a complex past. His goal? To tear down the Veil, a magical barrier that separates the world of Thedas from the dangerous realm of demons. But things don't go as planned. Instead of simply removing the Veil, his ritual unleashes two ancient and incredibly powerful adversaries, and these beings are intent on finishing what they started millennia ago: total domination of the world. Now this is where Rook, the protagonist you'll be playing, comes in. Fully customizable, Rook's journey will take you across iconic locations in Thedas, from the bustling magical city of Minrathous to the vibrant tropics of Ravane, and even the dangerous depths of the deep roads. Each of these locations bring unique challenges and enemies, adding to the scale and depth of the game's world. Along the way, you'll encounter powerful factions that will either aid or oppose you. Some of these will be familiar to longtime fans, like the Grey Wardens, those legendary warriors sworn to fight the Darkspawn. You also meet the Antivan crows, a deadly group of assassins known for their stealth and precision, and the Lords of Fortune, treasure hunters from Ravane. Their first appearance in the series after being featured in Dragon Age's extended lore. With these factions and the help of companions, each with their own backstories and motivations, you'll need to navigate alliances, betrayals, and ultimately make decisions that could shape the future of Thedas. The stakes couldn't be higher. Solas' actions have set off a chain reaction, and it's up to Rook and their companions to stop these newly freed deities before all Thedas is plunged into chaos. So that's the core of the Veilguard story. It's a massive, sprawling adventure that ties directly into the lore of the previous games, while introducing new characters, locations, and challenges to keep both veterans and newcomers invested.
The Veil is a wound inflicted upon this world. It must be healed. By drowning the world in demons?
Now, let's dive into one of the best parts of any Dragon Age game: the companions. BioWare has always been great at giving us characters we truly connect with, and the Veilguard is no different. You'll be adventuring alongside a memorable crew, each bringing their own backstory, motivations, and unique skills to the table. So, let's break down a few of the key companions we know about so far. So far, we've got Varric. If you've played Dragon Age 2 or Inquisition, you already know this charming rogue. Varric is a dwarven storyteller, adventurer, and all-around smooth talker. While he's been a staple in past games, this time he's back in a major way, still equipped with his trusty crossbow, Bianca. He's there to help guide you through the chaos of Thedas. Varric is always a fan favorite, and it's exciting to see how his role in this game ties back to long-standing storylines. Next, let's talk about Nev, one of the new faces in the Veilguard. Nev is a mage and private investigator from Tevinter, which is one of the most magical and politically complicated regions in Thedas. She's helping you track down Solas, and her connections to Tevinter's mage politics bring a whole new layer of intrigue. It's going to be fascinating to see how her story unfolds, especially since Tevinter hasn't really been explored in depth in previous games.
In the shadows.
Then there's Lucanus, also known as the Mage Killer. He's a part of the Antivan Crows, an infamous group of assassins known for their stealth and precision. Lucanus is here to shake things up with his dangerous reputation, and his loyalty to the Crows means he's bound to add some tension and high-stakes choices to the story. The fact that he's skilled at hunting mages might put him at odds with other companions, making for some interesting dynamics.
Who are you? Who sent you?
Now, what's Dragon Age without a little romance? BioWare is sticking to the tradition here. Just like in previous games, you'll be able to build relationships with your companions. And we're talking about more than just flirtatious dialogue. The relationships in the Veilguard are designed to be deeply woven into the story and gameplay. Your choices not only influence how your companions feel about you, but also impact their personal story arcs and, ultimately, the game's outcome. What's cool about this game is that each companion has their own unique romance flavor. For instance, we know that some characters are more physical and aggressive, while others, like Emmerich, the gentleman necromancer, are more intimate and sensual. So whether you're looking for fiery passion or something a bit more slow burning, the Veilguard has it covered. And of course, relationships go beyond romance. The companions are the emotional core of the story. BioWare has emphasized that building a strong team is essential to success in the game. You can't just charge into battle solo. Each companion brings critical skills to your journey. Plus they got their own reasons for joining you, which often ties into the factions they represent, like the Grey Wardens and the Veil Jumpers. These factions will influence not only their personal goals, but also how the story plays out depending on who you align with. So between characters like Varric, Nev, and Lucanus, and the complex relationships that you'll build with them, the Veilguard is really leaning into what makes Dragon Age special. Characters that feel alive, with their own stories that weave into your epic journey.
You know there will be dragons.
Right. We'll need someone with fire in their blood.
Alright, now let's talk about the combat in Dragon Age the Veilguard. Because this is where BioWare is really stepping things up. The game is leaning fully into the action RPG style, which is a bit of a departure from the more tactical elements we've seen in earlier Dragon Age games. At the core of combat, you'll choose between three main classes: Warrior, Mage, and Rogue. These classes are your bread and butter, and each one brings a different style of play. If you're a warrior, you'll focus on heavy, hard-hitting attacks, building up rage as you dish out damage. Mages are all about controlling the battlefield with powerful spells, and rogues, well, they're quick, agile, and rely on dodging and parrying to build up momentum. What makes combat in the Veilguard exciting is how BioWare has merged real-time action with strategic elements. You've got the ability wheel, which allows you to trigger special moves, or give commands to your companions mid-battle. It's like a hybrid system. You could play it like a straight-up action game, but at any moment, you could pause the action to plan out your next moves. This is great for players who enjoy a bit of strategy without the slower pacing of the older, more tactical Dragon Age games. Now, if you've played Inquisition or even Origins, you'll notice that the Veilguard feels faster and more fluid. The animations are slicker, and you're able to chain attacks and combos more smoothly. Plus, you're no longer controlling all your companions directly during combat. Instead, you issue commands via the tactical pause, allowing you to still feel like you're leading the team without micromanaging every action. What's interesting here is how BioWare is trying to cater to both types of RPG players: those who want fast-paced, action-heavy combat, and those who like to think things through tactically. You'll be managing not just your own abilities, but also exploiting enemy weaknesses. Enemies might have elemental barriers or specific defenses, so choosing the right attacks or having your companions use their abilities at the right time becomes key. It's like they took the best elements of Mass Effect's combat and infused them into the Dragon Age world. Oh, and let's not forget the class-specific mechanics. For example, rogues build up momentum quickly by dodging and parrying, but lose it just as fast as they get it. Warriors, on the other hand, build rage more slowly, but can maintain it longer to unleash devastating attacks. It's these little details that make each class feel distinct, giving you plenty of reason to try different builds on multiple playthroughs. So whether you're all about fast, frenetic combat, or you prefer to slow things down and plan out your every move, the Veilguard offers a nice balance that'll appeal to both ends of the spectrum. And if you love the ability to pause and strategize in earlier Dragon Age games, you'll still have that option, though it's wrapped up in a much faster, action-heavy package this time around. Now, let's talk about the world of Dragon Age the Veilguard, because the places you'll explore in this game are a huge part of what makes it so captivating. Thedas is already known for its rich history and diverse landscapes, and the Veilguard takes that to a whole new level. You'll start your journey in some of the most iconic locations ever seen in the series. One of the big ones is Minrathous, the capital of the Tevinter Imperium. This city is dripping with magic and intrigue. Think towering spires, opulent palaces, and political tensions bubbling just below the surface. It's the heart of one of the most powerful mage-run societies in Thedas, so you can bet there's a lot to uncover here. But it's not all urban magic. You also explore the deep roads, those dark, crumbling underground tunnels filled with danger, including Darkspawn. Then there's Ravane, a lush, tropical region that gives the game a striking contrast from the more familiar cold and rugged landscapes. Each of these places feels alive and adds depth to the story, with their unique environments influencing how you approach both exploration and combat. Now, let's talk about the factions, because the Veilguard really leans into how different groups can influence your journey. One of the most iconic factions making a return is the Grey Wardens, the legendary Darkspawn hunters. But there's a lot more going on. For example, the Antivan Crows, a group of elite assassins, are involved in some shady dealings, and their presence can either be a huge asset or a dangerous obstacle depending on how you handle things. Then there's the Lords of Fortune, treasure hunters from Ravane. They're all about seeking power and wealth, and their goals may not always align with yours, but aligning with them could open up some unique opportunities. You've also got the Mournwatch, keepers of Navarra's necropolis, and the Veil Jumpers, a faction that specializes in exploring elven ruins. What's cool about the Veilguard is how deeply these factions are tied into the narrative. The faction you choose to align with or oppose will influence the story and the decisions you have to make. It's not just about which factions help you in battle, but also how they shape your journey through the world. Each faction has its own objectives and motivations, so your choices really do matter, affecting everything from companion relationships to the game's multiple endings. So whether you're navigating the political intrigues of Tevinter or venturing into the eerie darkness of the deep roads, the Veilguard offers a rich, diverse world that feels alive and reactive to your decisions. It's all about exploring, building alliances, and figuring out which factions to trust as you try to stop Solas from tearing down the Veil.
Rook, this is Nev Gallus, our local expert. She's gonna help us find Solas.
One of the most exciting elements of Dragon Age the Veilguard is the music, and here's a fun fact. The legendary Hans Zimmer himself composed the main theme for the game. You might know him from his work on films like Inception, The Dark Knight, and Gladiator. So having his touch on the score really adds a cinematic feel to the entire experience. The music sets the tone perfectly, especially during those dramatic, high-stakes moments, like facing Solas or exploring the ancient ruins of Thedas. Zimmer's music isn't just background noise. It actively shapes how you feel as you play, from intense battle themes that get your adrenaline pumping to quieter, more mysterious tracks when you're deep in exploration. The score pulls you into the world. The atmospheric design goes hand in hand with the music. The sound of wind howling through the deep roads, or the hum of magical energy in Minrathous makes every location feel alive. Together, the music and environmental sounds create a deeply immersive world that really enhances the emotional impact of key moments, whether it's a tense confrontational or quiet introspective scene. So whether you're engaged in combat or just taking in the world, Zimmer's music and the game's atmospheric sounds are there to amplify every part of the adventure, making the Veilguard feel like an epic you're truly living.
There's something kind of exciting about it.
Alright, so to wrap things up, Dragon Age the Veilguard is shaping up to be an incredible RPG experience. From the epic story centered around Solas and the fate of Thedas, to the dynamic companions with their own deep backstories and relationships, and the fast-paced yet strategic combat that caters to all playstyles. This game has so much to offer. Whether you're in it for the action, the lore, or the character interactions, there's something here for everyone. Now, I want to hear from you. Are you excited for Dragon Age the Veilguard? What are you most looking forward to? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take on the game. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the latest gaming news, reviews, and deep dives. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.